Obviously, there's a ton of caveats. They're folks that are doing this for an audience. It's very entertaining, it's for entertainment, but you can see how 1,000 different players navigate a first-time user experience, or 1,000 players navigate a game's inventory system, and many of them will not be shy and bashful, even if you just observe. You don't have to interact whatsoever. They are not bashful about if something is cool or if something is annoying or frustrating, and you will get mostly unfiltered feedback about menus and about interfaces. And I do feel like, for better or for worse, the average player literacy of understanding settings and menus and the words UI used to not mean anything to the average player, I'd say a decade ago. But a lot of these terms are becoming more known in the broader player space. That can be an excellent vector and venue into starting to investigate certain different aspects. It's not the end all and be all. It is not a clean replacement for actual user research, but it's a fantastic start, especially if you're in a bind. Great. All right. Well, we're almost at the end of our time for this panel. Do we have any closing thoughts about accessibility and UX and how the two go hand in hand?
I'm just glad that it's constantly progressing, and like big AAA games are now at the forefront of these producing these big features for these polished games. And I think that's just amazing, because I feel like this is an effort that started in smaller games, and now bigger games are picking it up, and it's really cool to see. Like when The Last of Us 2 came out and they had that giant list of accessibility features that Sony published to a website that everyone could look at, and it got picked up by Kotaku and Eurogamer and Polygon, and like it's so postable for those websites. It's just great that this almost is a revolution of like, okay, now a big AAA game has done it, now everyone has to follow. And I'm just super happy that at Ubisoft we've always considered to be a part of every game that we make. It has to have a certain accessibility standard, and I think everyone in the industry is contributing to that, and that's just fantastic. That's why I'm so happy to be in this little part of the gaming community.
I will underscore everything that you just mentioned, especially being from a larger studio environment myself. I'm also extremely encouraged by how accessible game development has become in terms of the platforms that you can pick up, and even the areas that you can post games. We had Flash was great for that, and then Flash died, and then now it feels like some 20 years later we finally kind of recovered a bit. But the reason why I bring that up is that to see indie experiments in not just novel gameplay devices, but novel accessibility approaches because of these novel gameplay experiences, devices, or mechanics is also really encouraging and really inspiring too. And so I would say, yeah, like it's amazing to have a very broad public mainstream support for accessibility, but I'm also excited for the innovative, maybe less obvious ideas that are emerging that can also make accessibility better.
Yeah, I think it's good to, what I would say to people is to celebrate any accessibility wins that you have. Like we said before, maybe you couldn't do everything that you had on the long list when you started, especially if you're a smaller studio or things happen in production. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't shout about and share what you have managed to achieve. And that even if it's something that you haven't had a focus on before, any progress you can do as a UX designer or any other discipline is good. And that also the accessibility community is great and fabulous and incredibly welcoming and kind space to be in game development. So I would encourage anybody who wants to get involved more to any extent to try and jump in and make some friends on the GA Conf Discord or in other places at gatherings and stuff, because it can be great for your progression. It's going to make you a better designer overall. And apart from anything else, it can be tiring. So you need other people to support you, and things like GA Conf where you can find those people who get what it can be like and can help you through when it gets tough.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think as well it's really interesting to see, we were talking there about, innovation coming both from AAA and from indie as well. And I think the other thing that's been really exciting to see over the last couple of years as well is, platform holders and hardware really starting to push for accessibility being included on storefronts and store labeling, and really advocating for it. And it makes it so much easier for us as designers to advocate for it internally when it actually has a major impact on the release of a game and it going through certification and all of those steps as well. So that's really great to see. But in addition to that, from my perspective as someone working in an indie studio, the thing that we're starting to see more now is big studios sharing tools, which is amazing because it gives small studios a leg up where we just might not have the budget to create some of those tools in-house. We're now getting the opportunity to tap into some of the experience and to some of the skills that have been developed elsewhere to get us that leg up and get a little bit ahead so that we can focus a little bit more of that design effort on some of the other aspects of accessibility, which is great, right? And I think that's such a huge part of the accessibility community in terms of the development side of things is that there's this real intent to share the knowledge to try and make every game better for every gamer. And I think that's such a wonderful thing about it as well.
And I cannot think of a more salient or perfect or poignant note to end this panel on. That's our time. We truly hope you enjoyed our discussion today. And remember, like we just said, accessibility efforts, no matter how small, help all of us experience and enjoy games. So please, if you're watching this, or if you're watching us now or later, please keep creating, keep researching, keep advocating for accessibility, whether it's in UX or beyond. Bye, everyone.